Okay, so I'm gonna do every question. That's my plan for these next few videos that I'm gonna upload. I'm gonna do every programming question we've ever been given, and you guys can see my thought process on where do I start, what do I think, um, how do I go about every question, because that's what you guys need to be doing. This is only midterm, so it's only been 5 weeks in a 4-year course, 3-year course for some people. You have to be kind of getting your methodology right. So it's grand spending an hour doing a question, right? So let's say it takes you an hour to do question one. That's grand. But if you're in an exam and you're trying to look at a problem, you only have 5 minutes, 2 minutes to look at a question, write it, or find what's wrong with it, or do any number of things. So it's all about the methodology. Once you get the methodology, it's the exact same for every question. So I'm just gonna get on with this, okay? Because I feel like I could make this a really long video, or I couldn't. I might not. I prefer to be a short video, so it doesn't get boring. Right? I'm gonna use Blue Jay. Blue Jay just comes with a bunch of extra fluff. You just get rid of it all. Question one. Let's see. All right. Public. Let's see. Java program that produces the following output. Name your program. Question one. Java. Right. Um, I'm gonna explain in this first video like everything. I think if I can remember to explain everything. The next few videos for lab 2, 3, 4, they'll just be me reading the question and doing it. But for question 1, 2, 3, 4 for lab 1, I'm gonna highlight things. I'm gonna show you what I do when I read a question. These questions are easy and they're simple, so it might not seem important, but it is when you get to a question like question 5, and it's a big long thing, and you don't know where to start. You don't know what to do. Right? Question 1: write a Java program that produces the following output, and it's just some text. So immediately you're thinking, how do I print text? Right? So let's get our uh, starting our boilerplate, right? Setup. I don't think the lectures ever say boilerplate, but they should. Question 1. I'm on my fucking home computer, so this might be a bit difficult. Let's see now. Stack void main, and then string, that one. There. I have been doing Java for 3 years in Maynooth. I did C# for a year. I still mumble public stack void main string arts just so I don't forget it. Public class question 1, public stack void main, curly brackets. It's all the exact same. Every single question, right? Every single question. You should be able to do this in your sleep at this stage. We got to print text, so we got a system. There's no output. There's no variables, right? So if you think back to your pseudocode, you go declare variables, right? We don't need any, so not needed. Now imagine this was a big, massive program, and you were doing 400 lines of code, which I've done before. You want to be able to go back to that program and read, what is this line doing? What is this doing? So comments for these questions aren't important, right? You're not going to go back to this question and think, what the hell am I printing or what am I doing? Because it's going to be 2 lines, right? But for 400 lines of code, you want to have the habit of doing comments. So declare variables not needed. What's the next one? Take user input, I think, is the next heading in your pseudocode. We don't need that, right? So not needed. Okay, we got a calculations is not needed because there's no calculations. And then print. We are printing, so we gotta go system out print ln ln, and the question asks for Java programming like that. We gotta finish off our brackets, semicolon, right? Because it's a statement. It's an executable thing. It's telling the computer what to do. This up here is basically telling the computer where to put it. This is like we're making a class, right? We're making a class called question1. We're making a main method that doesn't have a return. It's public, so everything can see it. Don't worry about that, okay? Next semester, I think we're going to do multiple methods, and all this, the reason we do this becomes so much more clearer, and it's actually very helpful. But not now. I have an idea. I'm going to finish this, and I'm going to try, see if I can show you something. Because maybe you'll get a better understanding of why we have methods like this. Right? And then we got to go system, out, print, ln. We got to go, we're going to print nothing. We're just to skip a next line. Right? And then we're going to do system. And notice how I'm not copying pasting, right? Like, because I'm in the habit of it, I don't need to copy and paste. Because highlighting all this here, and then, oh, I missed an S, I've got to go here, and then copy and pasting, and get rid of the Java programming, and typing in rocks, or I can just type it, right? So, that's it. It's question one, right? Read the question, picked out what I needed, right? So we need, throw this over here. I'll throw this over here for the rest of the video. Java program that produces the following output, right? And I'm doing what the question asks. I didn't, if I didn't just print Java programming. Let's see. I didn't just print Java programming and then rocks. I have a space in between, right? So when we print, hold on, we have a space, right? Ignore here, options clear. There, we have a space, because that's what the question asked, okay? And everything's spelled correctly. That's question one. Now, question one could be done in, a minute, but I want you guys to have a good foundation for the next questions, for any question you have to do, right? That thing I was telling you about, by the way, that I might want to be able to do, I can go down here and public static void print, and we're going to take in that, and we're going to go system out dot println. We're going to go test print. All right, that's what we're going to print out. We're just going to print out the letter, capital T, EST space PR. The computer doesn't know what this says, test print, right? We understand what that means. It could have just been anything, right? But the computer doesn't know that, right? It just sees a T, it sees an E, it sees an S. And anything in these quotes, it's going to print. If we didn't have the quotes, it would try to print a variable, but there's a space in between those variables. You have to understand that the quotes mean whatever's in here. So I've made so this is a method, right? This is the main method, right? See the way it's in a block? See the yellow surrounds all this text here, right? That's a method. This is it. The methods are used to kind of segment off code. So if I wanted to print, use the print method a lot in different places. One, I could do this. I could do this if I wanted to print it 5 times in different places in my code. I'd have to type it out 5 times. Or I can type it once right here and then just call print. I believe. Now I haven't done Java in ages, right? So we haven't done this in class. Don't be worrying. I'm just trying to show you why this is a thing, right? So this is the main method. Every class has to have a main method, but we can have other methods. We can make our own methods. This print method, right? I'm calling it print. I'm gonna call it banana, right? Because I think some people might be thinking, oh, you're using print, the word print, because it's predetermined. No, I'm gonna call it banana, right? And I'm gonna because that's what I'm gonna name it. And it's gonna be called banana. Compile. If we go to over here, we're gonna run. See the way there's a main method and a banana. We're gonna use banana. Clear. Let's try it again. Test print. So when you run the the banana method, it just prints. Test print. It goes to uh, it, when you call the banana method, it goes to where banana is created. Right, the banana method is created, and then it starts running what's in these curly brackets. Okay, whatever's in these curly brackets starts running. It finishes, right, and then it moves on to the next line, whatever's next after, right? Anyways, I'm just trying to show you why we have a main method, what it means. Don't worry about it. Okay, this is just question one. That's fine. Question two. Write a Java program that prints the answer to the following arithmetic expressions on separate lines. Name a question, Java. The end is smart, right? Who gives a fuck? So if we X out question one, if we go new class, we can call this question two, right? You can go in here. This is all our fluff we get rid of. And same again, in my sleep, question two, curly bracket, public, stack, void, main, string, hold on, args, and more curly brackets. So we have to print the answers to the following arithmetic expressions. So we're printing, so we've no variables, right? Not needed. We have take user input. We are not needed. It's not needed in this question. Calculations. Now there's two ways of doing this, right? The long way would be to create four. Okay, let's say I'm going to do this question two ways, okay? Both are correct, but one is better. One is faster than the other, but one has better habits. Better you should do the second one. Okay, I'm gonna do the first one. You should do the second one as best practice. Okay. Uh, Calculations not needed. Okay, and then what we got? We got print. So we're gonna do system.out.println and 4. We're just gonna print the number 4, an X and a 4. Okay, we're gonna equals, and then we're gonna print whatever's in here. Okay, we're gonna add on 4 star 4. Hold on. Okay, we're printing something, right? But the computer doesn't know what it is. Again, it could be banana, but we're gonna add on the answer to this 4 times 4. Okay, just to show you what it does, we can go in here. We can go main method, and 4x4 equals 16. So it prints 4 space x 4 space 4 space equals, and then I believe I added a space here. See the way I added the space? If I didn't have that space, the 16 would be right next to the equal sign. It looks messy. And then it adds on the answer. 4 times 4. Okay. System out print ln. Also, I think I said this to one of you guys. You know when you're typing in Word and some people use like their index fingers and some people are really terrible at typing and some people are really good. It's the exact same with programming. You know, you get used to the system out of print. You get used to using your semicolons, your full stops, and your whatever. You just remember where they are. If you're worried about your typing really slowly, don't be worrying. You know, I still make mistakes. You'll see that loads of times in this. I make loads of mistakes. 3 so 3x7 plus, and then we're going to add a bracket, minus 2x minus 8. So it's just going to print this out. Hold on, equals. And we're going to add on, right? Now I love brackets for maths because it just keeps everything so tidy and it ensures that you're doing everything in the right order. Minus 2 times minus 8 and then 2 brackets because, oh yeah, look at that. So if I highlight, right, if I'm right next to this bracket here, BlueJ will tell me the corresponding bracket. So the corresponding bracket to this one is over here. So if I have an extra bracket, right, if I have loads brackets, there's no pair, I don't need it. There's no pair on this one. Oh, there is. But then it gets confused about what this, yeah. Yeah, there we go, right? Semicolon. So that's going to print the answer to all of this and add it on. Right, I'm just going to do the next one. I'm going to do the next few without explaining things because this video is going to be like miles long if I don't. Do I explain this one? No, you guys understand. 5 minus 6 inside of, and then you can't, I don't believe you can put things like, see the way it's all here, right? See the way like this, it's like the divide line is there. I don't believe you can do that like in a print statement. If you can, I don't know how. So tough shit. I'm just gonna do it my way. And then what we can actually do is copy all this. This is the only case where copy and pasting is probably correct because this is such a long oh shit. Such a long question. So that bracket is there, and I want to add on that one. And then add in another bracket. Alright. And there. Now, this is a bit long, right? It's system.out.print. It's a really long kind of statement. So I'm actually going to take the plus and do like that. So that's perfectly fine. Alright, system.out.print, and then it'll go to the next line and read the plus until it gets to semicolon. But it just looks tidy. Because the one thing you don't want is a lecturer coming around or a tutor coming around looking at your program and going, what the fuck is this? I think that's all correct. Alright, that's it. Question 2 is done. We can check it. So oh my god, always check your answer. Right? I don't care if it's the easiest question 1 answer ever. Check it. And this is 2. Yeah, I think 2 is your answer, right? I don't know, can't remember. None of this is going to be graded, so it doesn't really actually matter. It's the principles that you guys got to get correct. All right, question 3. Let's read it. Write a Java program that uses 2 variables. Right, we're going to use variables. 2 variables, x and y. Have to be named x and y because that's what's in the question. To store the values 71.3.14. Right, so that's an integer. That's a double. Your program should print the values stored in x and y to the screen. Name your program. Question 3. Easy peasy, right? Boilerplate, public class, question 3. And then your curly brackets, public static void main, and then bracket string, square brackets, args, curly brackets. We're gonna declare variables. We do actually need this one. We can go int x equals 71 and int, actually sorry, double y is equal to 3.14. You could make these both doubles, okay, but 71, we're not doing anything with them together, so we're not multiplying, dividing them together. So having them as separate variable types is perfectly okay. Take user input. We're not doing that yet, so not needed. Calculations. We don't need them at the moment either. And then print, we do need, absolutely. System.out.println. We can go x equal to, and then add on x. We're not going to add on x, we're just adding it on to the end of the string. If you don't know what a string is, drop out. I'm kidding. It's a variable type. Google it. There's 8 variable types. You only need 4, I believe. Boom, question 3. I didn't realize. All done. Because it's the exact same what we've already had. Compile. Let's go back into this. Let's go run the main method, and y is equal to 71, y is equal to 3.14. Easy peasy. Next. Question 4. Also, notice how public class, it's the exact same. Question 1. Question 1 here, spelled the exact same as it is above. Okay, question 3, spelled the exact same. Question 2, you can't just change your names. And notice how I'm not copy and pasting anything for my pseudocode, okay? Pseudocode is a template. You should never copy and paste your pseudocode into your actual program, because it's just so much wasted time going over and reorganizing stuff. You have to change the case of your variables, because in the pseudocode they're capitals, and in Java they're lowercase, and you've no semicolons. It's just dreadful. You should have your pseudocode. See the way I have 2 tabs open? I've the questions over here and I have my program here. You should absolutely have them side by side. I don't have them side by side because I've done these questions already. But if I had a new question, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do pseudocode in for one of the later questions. Question 5, I think. Or one of the ones where you accept input. One of the newer ones. Because, God, some people have really bad pseudocode. Anyways, question 4. Employee receives an hourly rate of 9.8. Oh, I love these questions. And works 42 hours a week. So there's a double and there's an integer. Okay, what are we going to do with them? Write a Java program that calculates the employee's gross weekly wage and prints it to the screen. No, be very careful when choosing variable type in their names. So we only need this, right? And its name. So we have the variable value and its type because we're clever people and we know what type of variable this should be. And we have its name. That's everything we need to declare a variable because we need a type name equals value, right? We have a type of double. We have a name hourly rate equals, and it's 9.8 semicolon. And then, okay, what else we have? We have works 42 hours a week. Okay, so 42, we have a value, we have a type, and we also have its name, kind of. We can call it whatever you want, but you should call it something that makes sense. You're not going to call it banana because then you're going to come back in a year's time thinking, what the fuck why do I call it banana? We're going to keep it double because from the rest of the question, we know calculate the employee's gross weekly wage. We know we're going to multiply them together. Okay. We know we're going to do something with the two of them and they're going to interact with each other. So it's best to have them as the same variable type, which is double. And then hours worked. So we've hourly rate and hours worked. You could type it. Let's see what's the longest name I can use. Hours worked in a week equals 42. I know exactly what that means. Okay, that's clear as day. But you don't need it. You just need hours worked. And it's camel case, right? Camel case is, start with lowercase, and then everything afterwards is capital. That's just how it is. Don't argue with it. Because it's a double, by the way, 0.0. Cool. Declare variables. Hold on. See, I'm not perfect. Close, but I'm not. That's a joke. We don't need user input, so not needed. Calculations. We are. Let me think. Yeah, okay. I never explained the better way of doing things in question 1, I think, or 2. This is the better way of doing things, okay? So, calculations. If I had the pseudocode in front of me, I would have remembered this. We need an answer, right? Now, we can call it answer, but we don't really know what it means. Gross weekly, right? Equals, and we're just going to set it as 0. It's there when we need it, but we don't know what the answer is, so we're just going to call it whatever. We can call it 10, we can do that number, right? Or we can do 0.0. It's going to change anyway, so it doesn't matter what we set it as. Calculations, we're going to go gross weekly becomes, if anyone hasn't seen my first video, okay, the beginning of that is so important, okay, because I went over this. I'm going to do it again, okay. So if you understand this next bit about variables becoming other variables instead of equaling other variables, skip this, all right? Just 30 seconds at a time, whatever. I don't know how long it's going to be. Gross weekly is a variable, okay? It's 0.0. It's gonna equal the hourly rate times hours worked, which gives us uh, his gross weekly pay, his gross pay for a week, right? But what this really is, it's if you had a variable called x, and you wanted it to become, the product of y times z in maths, right? You could do that. You could absolutely do that. If you had y, you have z, perfectly fine. But I dare you to try this equation. X is equal to x times x. That makes no sense. What it is x becomes x times x. It this equal sign, it's an equal sign, right? For double gross weekly equals 0.0. That's fine, right? Because it equals 0.0. But gross weekly, right, becomes the hourly rate times hours worked. It's not equals. It's becomes. X becomes a new value, which is itself times itself. Right? You can't do that in maths. So it's really terrible to think about it as equals. You can say equals. You can say x equals x times x. Perfectly fine. Just don't think about it like that. You should think about it as x becoming a new value, right? Anyways, gross weekly equals hourly rate times hours worked. That's fine. Okay? And then I think print is the next one, isn't it? Yep, all good. System.out.println. We're going to print exactly what we are asked. Capital H, space, lowercase, or, right, is. And then we're going to end the quotes. We're going to add on okay, it says 9.8 there, okay? So we could absolutely type in 9.8 here inside the quotes and it would print the exact same thing. But what if we didn't know the hourly rate? We couldn't just type in the answer. So we just add on the variable hourly rate. It's not hard either. You just don't. It's called hard coding. Okay, typing it in manually yourself. It's called hard coding. It's good for some things. It's terrible for others. Best practice: don't do it. Print ln. So the question is asked us to do this on another line. Hours worked is quote. Add on the hours worked variable. System dot out dot print ln. There's two ways of doing this question. We could have skipped all the calculations, and we could have done like this: plus, and then add a bracket, hours worked, yada yada yada. Okay, don't do that. Okay, you want to, because what happens if you wanted to use the hourly rate times hours worked in 7 different places? Every time you wanted to use this, if you didn't have a variable for it, you would have had to type in hourly rate times hours worked. That's shit. Okay, you want a variable. You want to store in something that you can use over and over and over again, which we can now that we've made a variable. Okay, boom. Question 4 done. Right, that's not hard because I've done this loads of times. I know the method. I know how to think about a question. It just takes practice. Okay, I've done question 4 in the fucking first video. Like, I've done this question so many times. I've helped you guys in the labs with it. It's fine. Okay, that's why I know what I'm doing. But for you guys, do it on pen and paper. Do the pseudocode. Do your diagrams. Okay, this is a short question. It's not too bad. Compile this. We'll just double check our answer, make sure we're right. And it prints hourly rate, hours worked, gross, weekly is. Yeah, perfect, right? We got our answer. Next. I have no idea how long this video is, by the way. If it's really long, sorry. So get rid of all our fluff. Public. I haven't even read the question, by the way. I don't care what the question is. The question could be asking anything about fruits, cars. I don't give a damn. We have to add our boilerplate. I haven't even looked at the question 5. Stack, void, main, because this never changes. That is, I believe that's true. I believe this never changes. You might change some like public static void main. Maybe. I doubt it. But never changes. So question 5, given the following function, f of x is equal to x squared times 3x plus 3x minus 5. Red job would evaluate where x is 4. Your program should use. Okay, so This is worded very complicated just to throw you off. It's probably not trying to throw you off, but I can imagine it threw a bunch of people off. Uh, f of x is equal to, so the function x, yeah, okay. What this is basically saying is similar to this. Question 2. This is a function, okay? You could graph this. Um, I would show you what that looks like, but I'm not going to complicate things. I think just leave it like this. We'll do maths next semester, and you'll see a bunch of these. Um, yeah, I'm not going to complicate. I'm just going to do the question. So, declare variables. Do we need any variables? Yes, we do. We need x. So, I'm going to keep it as a double. Now, okay, so doubles use the only reason I'm thinking about this is because doubles use more storage in your computer. If you have a program, right, like Minecraft. Okay, let's use Minecraft, right? I think everyone's heard of Minecraft, and it has blocks, and it has about 1,000 blocks. Each one of them needs a variable with them, right? 1,000 variables. If you try and cut back on the amount of memory that uses, that's all the better. Okay, so you want to use as little memory as possible. These questions are tiny, so it doesn't really matter. But you want to have that in the back of your head. You know, do I use an int or a double? Because one is bigger than the other, it stores more. So I could cut down on space, you know. But doubles need decimal points, which I don't know if we're gonna need. We're not gonna need it, but we know we might. So I don't know. X is equal to 4 because that's what the question asked. That's the only variable we need. We need a take user input. Even though we don't use it, put it in. You know, it's always best to just put it in. Um, it shows that anyone looking at your code, like an examiner or a tutor, that you've thought about it and you've decided against it. Okay. In my PLC, that was something my teacher told me. Okay. It's always best if you're not going to use something, show it. Show the person that you're not using it. Okay. You know, we don't need variables. I've thought about if we need variables. I've decided we're not going to use them. In this question, we are. Do we need user input? No. I've decided. I've made the conscious decision. I've thought about it. No, we're not going to use them. Okay. We do need calculations, which means we're going to have an output variable. Yeah. The answer is equal to 0.0. We're going to have an answer. Okay. Because that's what the question asked for. Calculations answer is equal to the function on the screen, but we can't do x like to the power of 2, right? So we have to go to x times x. So that's in one bracket. We're going to just encapsulate the whole thing in a bracket. So that's one part of it, right? We're going to add 3 times x, right? And then we're going to minus 5. That's a whole equation. Answer is going to become whatever this is. I don't know off the top of my head. Was that 16 and 12 minus 5? Who gives a fuck? The computer will do it for us. That's why computers are here. And then print. Yeah. And then system dot out dot print ln. And then we're just going to copy, I think. If this copies nicely, we can use it. If it doesn't, no. So the f of x, x to the power of 2 plus 3, yeah, perfect. And then equals, and then we're going to add on answer variable. We're going to put a semicolon. We're going to compile this, and then is 23. Cool. Easy peasy. Yeah, that's all it is. You just read the question, figure out what you need, figure out what you don't need, and that's it, right? I'll do more questions. I'll do more examples. I'm gonna do every question actually, so you can see what I think about when I write a program. If you want to call your variable something different, I call it x because that's what we were asked. But the answer, I could have used that one. Could use full answer. But imagine you have to type that 1,000 times. Answer, answer, answer. You want to shorten it down as much as possible, But this is a tiny question. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's that's the whole um exercise one, lab one. Anyways, I'll upload this and then we can do another one later or something because I do this in my own time. Anyways.